So I'm Ellen Pritchard Dodge, and I am a speech pathologist. So that is my foundational work. And my expertise is communication, teaching all kids. My work has been with Kimochis, which means feelings in Japanese. I'm sitting in front of a bowl of feelings. I'm a speech pathologist that very early on had an expertise with stuttering in the 80s and 90s. And I worked with families. And what we know is children that stutter and have severe stutters, when we help them with communication and the social emotional, they just do better, because if they become more fluent, that's great. But when they can connect and feel confident and relaxed, this is, of course, great. So then I worked in schools, teaching all kids the skills of connecting, social emotional learning. Then the inventor of Kimochis, which are these little feeling pillows and more, is Nina Rowan Rappaport. She made these little feeling pillows because she realized boys especially weren't being treated the same as little girls. And she was concerned about what happens to people when they get older. They have big feelings and they might do something to hurt themselves, hurt someone else. So she created this so parents could talk with their boys and girls about their feelings so that they wouldn't have to act out or act in. Then Nina found me. I know, I feel so grateful, because I was in the town and I was going into schools teaching people how to communicate. And she said, will you come look at my Kimochis?
You're like, yeah.
I was like, what's a Kimochi? And I basically said, if you have a Diet Coke, I'll pop by. You know, that's how it started. So we always laugh about the Diet Coke. I'm like, yeah, I'll stop by. And when I saw her bowl of feelings, I instantly thought, oh, yes, this is going to be great for the boys, because it's a toy. And you can touch it and you can hold it and you can grab it and you can chuck it, and it makes it more fun and it makes it action. And that was the beginning, Kimmy, of me taking her invention into classrooms.
Wow.
And I said, I want to see what the big boys do. I knew the little boys would be like, oh man, but I wanted to see what the fifth grade boys did.
Right.
They melted. They were like, and I don't even have all my characters with me. They were like petting them, talking. They are so good with their feelings. You know this, you're a mother of boys. And what helps them is the soft touch. It makes it safe. It's like a block. It's like a Lego. It's like a crayon. It's like a rector set. It's a foundational tool. And then we developed curriculum, as you know, and
Yeah.
social emotional learning, thank goodness, is now being mandated. Like, hello, we teach kids to read, write, science explicitly. When we start at 3 and just teach kids, here's a feeling, it has a name. Oh, yay. People
Can you show the other side? So for
yeah,
the kid that doesn't know how to read yet, they
if you
can
don't
flip
know
it
how to,
over. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. And what's so fun is, oh, it's silly. Yay, here's our silly. And so you build vocabulary. And even with the biddies, if they can't read, they want to play with them and stack them. And it gives you a way to make kids interested.
Something I found interesting and started noticing after you told me is that boys in particular will use voices, different voices, when they're feeling unpleasant or hard to feel feelings, as a way to deal with them. So I just want you to tell me a little bit about your work with boys and how you noticed that, and if there's anything to do or not do about them. Like,
Yeah.
I just want your opinion on it.
Okay. So I got to work with Dr. William Pollack. You might know of him. He's the author of Real Boys. And I learned so much from him about boys. And I learned they need shame-free way to be talked to. They need time silence. They need kind of, when they come in the room, most women will start to blab. It's not good, not good. They need a little bit of time to kind of move in the room before you start verbalizing. You know, they need action, things that just help them connect, right? So I learned from him. And then we know that boys, when they're having feelings, they'll use these voices so as a function to be able to say what they want. So they'll use silly. Silly is a very common one, where they'll get ridiculous at the wrong time. And they'll move their body. Would you use your big boy voice? I get a lot of this from parents because it's irritating. If you live with the kids, which I'm not living with kids anymore, they're out.
Right.
I love them, but I'm out of quarter. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but the voice is what helps them. It's sort of like a cover up so they can say what they really want to say. They'll also use actions, as like kung fu, and all the noises and the voices and the action is having them play with the language, the words, the verbal. And so it's super, super important if you understand that. What can do for family is you might still know, oh my God, this voice drives me crazy. It's okay to notice that it's hard to listen to, but you can also say, I want to tune in. I want to tune into what this 7-year-old, this 14-year-old is trying to communicate. And so you're listening to the content, and it really flips the interaction. It softens our heart. And then what happens is they don't need those voices. They can take them out to be goofy and playful, which is awesome. The world is just sucking the fun out of people. It is sucking the fun. And boys, especially, it's like, would just stop having fun.
Right.
Right? And then they have to behave in a way that, this is more like a 7-week class. But
yeah, for sure.
The big thing is, who's ever listening to this, know that voices, both girls and boys, but especially boys, have a purpose.
Yeah.
Have a purpose, and if you can, just listen to what the message is, right? And the one other thing that we haven't touched on that I want parents and caregivers to know about our boys is how incredibly feeling our boys are. I actually think they're more feeling the girls, if I had to say it. And it's so hard for them because in the beginning they don't have all the words, and then they get in a lot of trouble because their behaviors, they don't crisscross applesauce, they don't line up well, they don't raise their hand in school, they don't use the scissors as easily, all these, they don't want to read the books as much as climb the, and so boys are kind of stripped of their fabulous energy. So they're like puppies, And so people that have the sons or daughters that run like sons, when you can take a breath and go, wow, this is their native language. They just love to have fun. And they're gonna come along and be able to plop it in to, have some manners and get in line, boys. But don't get in line out of fear, So it's this gentle teaching and coaching so that every human can keep their fun and their joy and their own signature.
I like that.
We all have our
Their
own
fabulousness. Just keep that fabulousness. I love it. And one of the things I really love about your curriculum, could you tell us more about your desire to eliminate shame when it comes to learning about social emotional intelligence and connecting with people or not connecting with people? I just love that in your approach.
It's exactly what you said. Every human is going to have all the feelings. Just like every human is going to use every letter of the alphabet. Right. In your language, there's no gender, there's no boy or girl letters, there's no boy or girl numbers, there's no boy or girl feelings. And that's a game changer because it makes it normal. It's a thing. So we talk to kids about it's a thing, and they have names and they like to be called by their names.
Yes.
Sad is not happy. Mad is mad. It's not disappointed. This way it's very shame-free and very clear. Oh, might you be feeling mad and disappointed? Oh, you're feeling both. They can put one on the top or the bottom. Oh, are you also feeling loved? So again, it's shame-free because it's teaching them what is a feeling, how do they work in our bodies, how
Right.
do we pull them out and talk about them, how do we see them in someone else and try to offer support. And like any other thing, we learn and practice, learn and practice. So when we make mistakes with our feelings,
Which we're going to do
which we
even
say,
as an adult.
this is why I love Kimochis. I say, oh, we all have feelings. All feelings are okay. All behaviors are not.
Right. That's huge, that
It's
distinction.
shame free. Oh, but whoa, I'm going to make mistakes with my mad. I might yell. I might slam the door. I might say, oh, I'm not mad. And really, I'm livid. I might make a mistake. But with Kimochi language, we take redos. We
I love that.
Yeah, it's like we edit. Just like if you wrote 1 + 1 is 3, you say, oh, no, it's actually 2. No shame. Oh, I yelled. No shame. I have a habit of yelling. Kimochis teaches you to go, oh, when I get disappointed, sometimes I do this thing. We name it and we try to practice something that will help us. And when you do this in a classroom or a family, every single time I've seen change.
Yeah.
And if you just do 1 or 2 of the ways of talking about feelings, just 1 or 2 small things, you can see a whole system relax. You can see, yeah, I can see
Because
it.
then people don't identify with their feelings as their character. Like, as so if I have a feeling and then I connect that feeling to behavior because it's the only behavior I know associated with that feeling, and then somehow I think that feeling slash behavior makes me unlovable,
Yeah,
that's the source of shame. And so if you separate behavior from feeling, and feeling and behavior from character or soul. Like, I love one of the things you say in your curriculum of all kind people can do unkind things. And it doesn't make them unkind. It just means that their behavior needs help. Like they need
yeah,
to learn how to regulate. They need to learn to not yell or hit their brother or whatever it is, but they're still going to feel those feelings.
we're human, and humans are profoundly limited. We still are teaching these children because we want them to be fluent with feelings and relationships and really understand it like the ABCs. We now understand you need to teach this, and we'll teach in the classroom, we'll teach in the home, we'll have parent ed, we'll have all these offerings, and all families can't access all the offerings, but
Right.
there'll be a swell. There'll be a swell of the world understanding, hey, there really is climate change and we need to do
Right. Like
there
it's
really,
real.
but it's
Right.
like there's a swell, and now there's a swell of, hey, there really is this thing called feelings and they matter. And you
They
can teach
do.
about them, and there's basically tools, and they're not hard. They're very easy, except if you're an emotion. You
Yes.
need to practice it just like you teach math before you go to the word problem.
Right.
It's easy. 1 + 1 is 2, but now when you give me a story, I have to use it. Feelings are the same. Oh, boys and girls, you can be mad, but you can't be mean. We train them with their voice. We train them with their body language. Now they're mad because their brother just plucked their truck out. It's the word problem. They can't access it right away, but they practice and practice and practice, and they get fluent. It's
Right.
so it's so hopeful.
That's really helpful. And it reminds me of what you suggest with sorry. Can you talk about what you suggest with sorry? Because I think it's so powerful. And when I think about behavior traumatizing, right? Behavior traumatizes us, whether it's violent, abusive, mean. And reparation and apology matters, but it's very hard for people. So I love that this too is being trained so young. So I just wanted you to talk a little bit about that.
Yes. Okay. When we hurt, like you hurt me, it hurts. when I hurt you, it hurts. And in hurt, some people are more able. They're just more able to go, oh my gosh, I hurt you. They're just able to lean in and try to do better. Some people, they aren't able to, just like in any other category in life. And they go, oh, they get so scared. So they feel in their body, they know the wrong thing has happened. Like maybe I've done the wrong thing, I've hurt you, but I feel maybe too proud to tell you. So that gets in front of my sorry. Maybe I feel disappointed in myself. Maybe I feel insecure. Maybe I feel sensitive. I'm so sensitive to everything right now that's happening. I feel guilty. That means I know right from wrong. Well, look at where my sorry is. It's
That's
it's
amazing.
amazing. And we show the kids one time, even little kids, and we go, oh, but if I did something I wish I hadn't done, what I do is I get my brave out. I'm talking like you're 3, sorry, because I teach.
No, I like it. It's the best. You're amazing. I'm like, tell me more.
I work with a lot of kids, so
That's so good.
look at how easy it is to be brave when you can hold it and you go, oh, you can't be brave unless you're all these other feelings. So you put your brave in front and you look right at the person and say, I did that. I pulled your truck out of your hands. I'm sorry. And then you try to make it better. Look, these start to go down and you start to feel closer to people. So when families say, if you don't have the Kimochis, just take a piece of paper and make it and say, hey, everybody, we're going to make mistakes and we're going to know, whoops, bring back the whoops-a-daisy.
I do love that. Whoops.
Whoops-a-daisy.
Right. Yeah.
The quicker you go, whoops, like if you spilled milk, everyone would get the paper towel because you're trained. You wouldn't be like, so now if I yell, if I slam a door, if I do any behavior with my feelings, you have the family agree we're going to be very, very brave. And we're going to say, yes, I did that. Whoops. How can I make it better?
Right.
But for me, Kimmy, I don't need a lot of words. I can see a sincere person. If my kid goes like this, that's hard for a kid. I would go like this. Thank you, honey. I know you are. The end.
Right.
Because that was a big move, a big emotional move. Now, when that person does the same thing over and over, that means they're missing a tool.
Yes.
So then, not in the moment, but when we're, especially with boys, when we're doing something together, when we're like, digging or riding bikes or shooting hoops or folding socks, we're saying, hey, bud, or however you talk to your kid, I'm noticing, and then you just say the little story about the thing that seems tricky. Like, you're bringing me the sorry pillow, but every time your body's yelling, what's going on, bud? And that's where I go to the bowl. I say, pull out all the feelings that you're having in that show, in that story. Then they can be like, well, I'm mad because my blah, blah, blah. And and then they get the whole story out through the feelings. And then the dad or mom or grandma can say, oh, tell me more. Oh, now I'm understanding. That's a lot of feelings. And you can have all those feelings, but we never yell at our brothers. We got to think of something else. We're going to practice. And that's where we give them talking voice or serious voice.
Right. And what are the tools? Even recently, my therapist helped me understand. She said, you can be really furious, but don't speak from your fury. Like, don't speak from your anger, speak for your anger.
I think the sentences help regulate. You learned a sentence that I'll now have because you shared it. You can have fury, but don't speak from your fury, speak for. So now from and for is now a language. This is how
Yes.
Kimochis work. We have these beautiful, as you know, sentences, just easy grab and go. And everyone's like, yeah, you can be mad, you can't be mean. It reminds the brain. So coming up with family or classroom sentences of how you want to be with your feelings. I want to be a person who doesn't yell out of the gate. Okay, I'm not that person today, but I want to be that person. I think this happens. If I feel mad and I'm in a relationship with you, you're my sister, you're my partner, and I feel mad, many people get afraid it means this has gone away.
Yes.
So if you say this to your children, you say this to yourself, you say this to your loved ones, we have enough love
Yes.
to
I'm
do
gonna start
all,
crying.
well, this is all we, I mean,
Dude.
saying this is all we have to say, and then I say a million things.
Yeah.
It's all, it's all the same thing. I say the same thing with different words.
Yeah.
We are going to get very, very mad in this family. And mad is important, but we're never going to be mean. When we are, we're going to redo. We're going to disappoint each other. I'm your mother. I will disappoint you. I'm your wife, your husband. I'm going to disappoint you. But you tell me, I'm going to trust you. And I'm going to, if I get afraid, I get afraid. Where's my scared? Where is my scared? It's in here. I got to dig it out. My fear, it's gone, so I'm not afraid. But if I get afraid, I can remind myself, this does not make love smaller. Actually, what happens, Kimmy, as you know, is you feel closer to people when they can do hard feelings with you, when you get more comfortable with what is hard.
Yes.
And this is what we say. We say, kids, this is called hard to have feelings. They're hard in our body. They're ouchy, but we turn to each other and our family will do it. And poof, then the world is different.
Poof, and then the world is different.